right, good evening, everybody. We're going to take a look at the market recap here for September 9th, 2024, as well as give you kind of a bit of insight into what I look at whenever we're coming into a new week. I'm going to go from there. All right, so the first thing I did whenever I came in this morning is I'm looking at the last week, 10 days or so. I'm going back to the previous Thursday, the week before last week. So Thursday, Friday, we had a massive consolidation week. Took a lot of people out with a lot of whipsaw action. As we came into last week's, Monday was basically a no trade day, especially for me. I'm not trading on a market may be open, but I'm not trading on a federal bank holiday. So as the market opens on a Tuesday, we had a pretty drop. So dropping in on Tuesday as we moved into Wednesday. Remember, this is just a short trading week, so we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and kind of move here on Friday for non-farm payroll. But I'm looking at a consolidation followed by a massive drop. I'm inclined to believe that this is a down and grab some liquidity before we head back up over the next couple of weeks. That said, we're looking at a 15-minute time frame here on the S&P 500, the ES market, and just right off the bat, I'm noticing a little bit of interesting points from last week. Had some big Tuesday to Wednesday price action, quite make it but 50% retracement. Back to a retracement, just shy of, before we continued to head down. This gave me a little bit of insight into where we might have been headed later in the week, because we couldn't even make it back to a full 38% retracement, let alone the 50, which on a consolidating market, you see that 50% quite a bit. All right, so let's zoom in here and take a closer look at what was actually happening on Friday, because that's what we base our trades off of as we open up on Monday. So Friday, again, with a 8:30 non-farm payroll, you got a massive up and down action, just whipsaw back and forth. We head into the New York Open, and we put in our high of the day. And it was interesting because we actually retraced almost to the penny on a 61% retracement on Thursday's price action. So that said, massive Friday, a little bit of a gap as we opened up on Sunday. So this was something to kind of, as we opened up on Sunday, we were already below close that we had on Friday. So interesting little area down here to pay attention to. Figured there was maybe a little bit of price action that was going to get hit down here today. All right, wasn't to be, but let's go ahead and zoom in. You're going to see that I've got the weekly and yesterday's close marked here. That helps me kind of where we're headed for the week. Expected move based on options. Expected move high, down below is going to be the expected move low. I've got some daily expected moves marked out, as well as marking out the overnight high and low. So once we hit Monday, midnight, where did we actually put in a low, and where did we put in the high as we went into the overnight? All right, so let's drill down into a 1 minute time frame, and we'll tighten this up here a little bit. And this is probably going to be a little bit off screen for you, but why don't we go ahead and go back into, right here is marking the New York Open. And again, kind of get a clarity on the expected move highs, and obviously the low is going to be down below. But even in this, whenever we're zoomed in like this, you can't even see where we opened up on the overnight low. Kind of go putting the low, so this is about 1:45 or so in the morning. So as we head into the London market, put in some highs, we bounce back to 8:30 right here, where I'm seeing this quite a bit, where we're seeing some price action between 7:30 and 8:30. Nice little range here, 54, 64, 47. And you'll notice that we're actually attacking the fibs based on price action. So interesting that we're paying attention to this. We can't quite get over the 50. We're punching through it just a little bit, but that price action right here was telling me, look, we're attacking these 50s. We might be going after this as we head into the open. I sit down usually about 8:30 or so, start to take a look at the market, and why don't we just zoom in here a little bit. So again, we're putting in a low right here at 8:30. We're heading into the New York Open. We definitely have some momentum behind us, a little bit of whipsaw action as we open. Went up a little bit, and we're in here to about 9:40 or so, the first 10 minutes of the market. I like to pay attention to what's going on there. It was about 9:39 before we put in a little reversal, drop back just below the open. So we've got a nice little range here. So this is actually our low for the first half hour. I'm normally not trading in that first 30 minutes unless I see something absolutely spectacular. And this kind of whipsaw action is not what I would call spectacular. Little 8-point moves, 68 down to 60. That's not something I feel like jumping in the middle of.
It's not funny, okay? It's not funny.
But by the time we hit a 10 o'clock over into this area, we've got an opening range. So this is what I like to pay attention to. We've got a low marked out right here, a high, and this gives me a little bit of an idea of where we headed if we're going to put in a high if we keep going up. And we see a lot of action that takes place in this 150 to 161. So again, if you're familiar with the golden ratio, 0.618 golden ratio, this is where a lot of reversals will happen. So we see some price action going on here. As we move into the 10 o'clock, now we've got this opening range, and my eyes are immediately going to the 150 to 61. Again, ratios that we're going to see an awful lot of if you start following this channel. If I don't be afraid, as I get better at this, you might want to watch what happens with these fib levels throughout the day, because it's absolutely amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
I see this absolutely every day. I come from a background of watching this happen on the daily, weekly, and monthly, and I'm trying to get better watching these from an intraday level, watching how the fib levels are respected. All right, so we've got the New York Open. We've got the first half hour put in. We see some targets, and sure enough, we hit the 161. Actually, a level, and if we point this out, it's the 618 level from Friday. So if that doesn't blow your mind here a little bit, it went above the 161 extension, but it punched right to the 618 retracement from Friday.
It's really nice.
As we did that at 10:11 this morning, we almost immediately turned around and started dropping. So hats off to ICT for pointing out some macros that are taking place. My friend Tim is a big bonus as well. Love the fact that these guys have been able to kind of finally beat something in little mind here over the last few months. That this 950 macro that runs every day, 950 to 1010, leaves a lot of footprints. There's an awful lot of things that take place as these as displays. The algorithms, something I definitely believe in, because it's happening day in and day out, and it's going right to specific levels that it's hard to not believe in once you see this happen day after day after day. After a half an hour, we put in a high, came off the low, drew some extensions. This is where we're targeting. And you notice how even whenever it punched through and hit the 618 from Friday, it wasn't able to go above the 161 again. So that level started pulling back, and this was just an absolute beautiful run.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And this is what we would call the first hour. Start heading the other way. Hour kind of sends us in one direction. First hour might send us in the opposite direction. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened here today. So draw the fib levels for the first hour. So here we are at a market low in that first hour. Probably gonna see this here. We go 1029, putting in the low right here, putting in the high at 1011. So very fast price action. And this is something where ICT, fellow Marylander, by the way, hats off to this gentleman. We definitely saw some as it went right back to these levels. So after the first hour, we can now redraw some fibs heading the other way. And that if we respected the 151 1% extension on the way up, very good chance we should be paying attention to that on the way down as well. So first hour gets put in, we're definitely heading the opposite direction, cross right over the open as we special attention into the 15 to 161. And you see that was, again, right in between this little pocket right here. This area gets some respect. So by the point, we've seen some great price action first 30 minutes as we see the first hour, and some movement down to the 161 extension on the way down. So terrific price action.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
And having turned and headed back up, I knew at that point we're just in for an inside day, and why waste my time trying to trade the day. So I opened up some books and some videos and just kind of took a look at what I've been trying to learn. So my entire point of trying to do this over the next weeks is to myself better from an intraday trading point of view, as well as just actually had tips as to some accountabilities from a trading partner who said, why don't you go ahead and put some of this stuff out publicly? I see what you're doing. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's go ahead and see what you can do and keep yourself from FOMO, as well as the over trading that I tend to do on days like this, especially where it just whipsaws back and forth. It's easy to see a lot of numbers pop up, and a lot of things will kind of jump right in you as far as excitement goes, and just get you going a lunch. All right, so as the day goes on, we're moving into the 1 o'clock hour. So 108, 109, 110, we put in the high for the day. Again, this is after this map at 110. We're seeing a lot of reversals at that point. If this is going to be an inside day, this is often like a big territory for a market reversal. And sure enough, put in the high for the day. This is marking off the low for the day. And then watch what we trade back to. As we start dropping back down through, we hit the 618, pay some respect, just shy of it. On the way down, we're just shy of the 318, and then all of a sudden punches through it. Coming up shy of the 50, punches through it, consolidates around the 50. Which way are we going to go? And keep dropping down through the 618. This is just the kind of price action that you just don't want to get caught in. It's just absolutely terrible. This is how I burned so many accounts trying to trade on an intraday level, trying to pick reversals at the 618, just shy of it. Oh, it's going to be going back up from here, and sure enough, it comes back just a few minutes later to burn you. So it gets off to ICT for helping me rein in some of those FOMO trades and trading that I tend to do. Especially by the afternoon, I've been redrawing fibs for the entire day. It's easy to get some on. Have a fantastic morning. I'll get a couple $1,000s, and by the afternoon, I'm chipping away a few $100s at a time, and end up with a blown account by the time we hit the end of the week. Absolutely silly. All right, so here we are going into the close. Had a nice little market on close, nice little run up through the end of the day, and overall, we're just looking at again kind of a inside day on last week Friday non-farm payroll. So we'll zoom in here a little bit again on the 15-minute. High to low, massive 150 so points, and then to kind of open up today, a very light inside day. Kind of difficult to trade something like this. I sat out today, didn't do any trades on the ES. Had a couple of small option trades that I ended up closing out, and was overall pretty happy with what I was able to not do today. So there's some accountability from a guy who overtrades, saying that I did not even take a trade on the ES today. If that was a little bit helpful, we'll try to fine-tune these a little bit over the next couple of weeks and make things a little more relevant. Thanks, everybody.
Not bad. Not bad.